Hi guys, so I'm here today to kind of talk about something I touched on before, and if I think of it, I'll put the video underneath this one where I talked a little more about how music inspires my writing. And I've talked about how each book has a soundtrack, and actually if you look through my videos, you'll see for each book I have a soundtrack that kind of, in a sense, these were songs that I was drawn to throughout the writing process, the songs I couldn't get out of my head. And the funny thing is maybe there were songs that previously I didn't really listen to, but I could not get them out of my head, as I said before. And they seem to inspire my writing during that period. And it's interesting because when I'm finished with the book, it's not that I don't like the songs anymore, I don't listen to them anymore, but they just don't kind of cling to my mind as much. It's really strange, but I kind of want to talk a little bit more about that because the way it works is I'll be listening to one of these songs that I'm drawn to, and suddenly I'm seeing portions of the book. It might be a little scene, like a snapshot of what's going to happen in the book that I'm writing, I should say, or a conversation maybe with you have different characters. Well, obviously you have different characters, but a conversation, like a smidgen of a conversation, and I'll run and jot it down, and it somehow works into my writing. It's usually coming up pretty soon when I think it through my mind. It fits in with what's going on during that specific time that I'm writing, I should say, specific part of the story. Yeah, I know it sounds strange, and a lot of people can't really understand it. I always compare it to like when you're talking to a psychic and they say, oh, I see, someone in a blue dress or somebody with initial whatever or something about, it's always a little bit vague. And that's kind of how this works too. It's just an inspiration. It's usually vague, but I have enough of it that I can kind of get a sense of what's going on. And it seems to somehow fit into the writing. And it's not something I overthink, because I find when I start overthinking anything, writing or otherwise, things just go to shit really fast. I mean, because when you overthink, you get too much in your head. And when you're writing, or I think doing anything artistic, it's better not to get too much in your head. It's probably not good to get too much in your head anytime, but especially if you're writing or doing something artistic, because then you overthink everything and it kind of falls flat when you write it. But if you're sort of feeling inspired and you just follow that and see where it takes you, you can be surprised yourself sometimes. And I have been many times, many times. Yeah, so I'll be working out and I'll be listening to my iPod. That's when I get my best ideas. Sometimes not, sometimes just randomly out of nowhere. But usually when I'm listening to my iPod, when I'm working out, suddenly I will just see a scene or a bit of a scene. And it kind of fits the vibe of the music. But the interesting part is it may not fit the theme of the music. So the song could be something like, for example, my last book, A Devil Named Hernandez, there was one of the first scenes in the book is it was Hernandez thinking back to a time in his 20s. He had a conversation with Diego, and when he had the conversation, I could hear like the song 10 Seconds to Love by Motley Crue, and I could not get it out of my head. Now, if you ever listen to that song, 10 Seconds to Love, probably you can get the feeling even by the title. It's not about partying, and, well, maybe to a point. It's a little more sexual than the scene. The scene isn't. The scene is just, George and Diego at a party. They're having a conversation. They're talking about issues with their parents. They're talking about what family really is. And they're kind of discussing what's going on in their life around that time. It's not really a big, huge discussion, but it's enough to kind of give you a sense of where they are in their life at that time. It's not, it's not like a big, deep, heartfelt conversation. It's just a casual one, but you get a feel for it. But this is the song I heard in my head. Now, to hear the lyrics, you would think, that this was this very different kind of scene that would pop up. But that's often the case. It's very contradictory to what the lyrics are to what's actually going on in the scene in my mind. It's just the feeling sort of that the music brings out. It's not even, it's sometimes about the lyrics, but it's usually just the vibe I'm getting from the music. There's something in the I don't even know how to explain it. Sort of the rhythm, the feel, the sense I'm getting. It's just that's where these ideas sort of create from. They evolve from that. I can't explain it. I just know it works, and it's very instinctual, very instinctual. Anyway, so I don't know if that explains things better, but it is what it is. That's how music inspires my writing. Very important. It's inspired some of the best scenes I've ever wrote in my books. Some of the best dialogue. Because I will be listening to a song and just all of a sudden think of the best kind of conversations and lines, and it's so awesome. I love it. Anyway, music's awesome. It's my biggest inspiration. That pretty much explains that, guys. Thank you. Have a good day.